Welcome to Iconic Leadership, the podcast for female entrepreneurs who know they're here to lead, not just build a business. This show is for women stepping into the Alpha Queen era, where leadership becomes identity, power is embodied, and success is created from the inside out. Here, we explore sovereign leadership, expansion, vision, purpose, business, and the inner work that is required to build an empire that fits the woman you are becoming. Strategy matters, but who you are matters more. I'm Carissa Atkins, and this is Iconic Leadership. Welcome to the new standard of the Alpha Queen power. Hey there. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Iconic Leadership podcast show. This is part 3 of the Diary of a $500,000 Speaker series. And today we're going to have a very real conversation, okay? Because we've talked about speaking, we've talked about conversions, but now we're going to flip the lens and we're going to talk about events, and more specifically, why so many of them are failing in today's event space. And I want to start by saying this, right? This is coming from a very real experience. Now, over the last 2 years, I have been in a lot of rooms. Right? I've spoken on stages all over. I've said yes to opportunities. I've invested in being in the right environments. And just in the last year alone, I've spent somewhere between $50,000 to $20,000 paying to be on other people's stages. We call them OPSs, other people's stages. Okay. So that's pay to plays, that's events, that's opportunities, all of it, right? I've probably spent anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 on other people's stages. And let me be very honest here with you guys. Some of those rooms, right? Some of those spaces that those other people paid to put together were incredible. I mean, they were filled with aligned ideal clients. They were very, very profitable, and they were very connection rich. Right? Your worth is kind of like your network. So I'm a big believer in building your business by building relationships. And these events, some of them that I've been at, have been very, very rich for me. Okay. So I'm talking about the kind of rooms where you walk away thinking, wow, that was worth every single dollar that I have spent. Okay. It was, even if it was just one conversation out of a 3-day conference, if I had one powerful conversation, if I met one person, if I signed one new client, right, it was well worth my time. But other events have been complete letdowns. And I don't say that lightly. I'm talking about walking into rooms where you were promised hundreds of attendees, massive marketing, high level exposure. And there were maybe only 20 or 30 people in the room. And then when you looked at those 20 or 30 people, they were predominantly all of the other speakers. And when you looked around, right, not only did you see speakers, but what you looked and what you gained was people who were not there to buy other people's stuff, right? We were there to share our stories. So these weren't even really ideal clients. And I know I am not the only one who has experienced this, because I've had so many conversations behind the scenes with so many women who feel the exact same way. Disappointed, frustrated, and questioning, was it even worth it? Not to mention the time that gets wasted in those spaces. Right? Not to mention it's when those small spaces are happening and we've all been promised the world and it was just the biggest letdown to us. And then people start to complain about it. And now I'm like, oh my God, now I can't even have conversations with these women in the room because they're just being negative about it. I remember one experience specifically. Okay. I was in Spain several years ago. I brought 8 of my clients with me, right? So many of my clients want to be speakers, authors. So many of them want to become, wildly profitable and very, very impactful with the work that they do. And guess what? I get to help them do that. But when some of their goals were international stages, I came across the stage in Spain. This particular one was in Madrid.
And I was like, hey, ladies, this is obviously not an Alpha Queen Collective event. My name is not on it by any means. I am just signing up to speak at this experience. And I know it's a goal of yours to get on international stages. Would you like me to send you the connection? Like, again, I'm not putting my name to this because I can't speak for it. I'm just telling you I'm doing this as a speaker. Would you like to come along? And 8 of them said yes. Right. So for most of these women, it was their very first international keynote. We were all so excited. We traveled together, we connected, we built relationships that will last a lifetime. We went shopping together, we explored together, we had paellas together, right? It was a whole experience. And yes, that was worth it for me to be able to be with my clients on an international experience, watching them, share their story with the world. But then after we explored Madrid, we got to the event. And the room, it was empty. I mean, speakers were speaking to speakers, big promises, tiny little baby delivery. Okay. And I remember looking at my clients, and in that moment, I had a decision to make, right? I was like, Carissa, you can be the leader that they need you to be, and you're not going to fall, you're not going to fall apart, and you're going to keep a positive mindset and all of these things. Or you could be that person that's like, hey, this is really shitty, because that's how they were feeling, right? We had spent thousands of dollars to get there, international travel, international hotels, international currency, all of it. We had spent thousands of dollars to be there. And of course, there was some part of me that was completely frustrated and so let down. But then I had to very quickly reframe. And I said, Carissa, you're not here clearly to speak to hundreds and thousands of women. You are here to support your clients, to show them what's possible, to lead by example. And I don't care. I had to remind myself, I said, Chris, it doesn't matter if there's one person in the room or 5,000. You are going to show up and you're going to be all in. And I remember looking at them thinking, okay, they need the leader right now. They need their coach to talk them off the ledge, right? And I was like, ladies, I know that this experience isn't what we were promised. However, let's go out there and let's kick some ass and take some names, right? And all of us ladies showed up. We delivered our keynotes. We spoke like it was a sold out arena. We supported each other. We rooted for each other as if we were our own cheer squad, because excellence is not conditional. But I made a promise to myself in that moment. I said, I will never be the kind of leader that overpromises and underdelivers, ever, period. And then I saw it again and again and again. About 6 months ago, I flew from the UK to LA for another event. Women paid $15,000 to be on this stage for 20 minutes. $15,000. About $1,000 a minute, right? That's crazy. And we were promised, right? Billboards, we were promised magazine features, hundreds of attendees, global exposure. And yet again, when I got there, same story, same small room, broken expectations, frustrated speakers. And you guys, that one was really a shocker for me, because the 2 ladies who facilitated this event, when you looked at their social media following, you tend to think that they are up here, that they are clearly at the top of their game. They had millions of followers. I was like, okay, these are professional baddies. I'm sure this is going to be a room that is not going to disappoint, right? Who they surround themselves with is probably very important. Like, I was so freaking excited. And although I didn't pay $15,000 to be on that stage, why? Because I auditioned and I actually got a free spot on that stage. All the other women did pay $15,000. I was so thankful and blessed that I only paid the $4,000 for my airfare and the hotel. And for some, that is even a lot, right? That's a lot. And I remember when that would have been a big deal for me. But I was like, you know what? Thank you, God, for allowing me to be in this space, for allowing me to meet so many incredible women. But there I was, frustrated alongside all of these speakers, broken expectations, right? I was just so let down by these women and the way they organized it. I mean, I was holding the timer in the front row, for goodness sakes, because the one lady was like, oh, my laptop's about to die. And I'm like, so that's my problem, right? Like, I am here as a speaker. What? But hey, the alpha queen in me is like, girl, I got you. No woman left behind. I got your back, right? And I cheered for those women. I stayed for every single talk because that's what a speaker deserves. I cannot stand it when other speakers go into the room, they share their story, and then they bounce the fuck out. I'm like, how rude, right? It'd be one thing if there was thousands of people in the audience and nobody really realized that the speakers were missing. But when that's all that is there, I mean, give the other speakers the respect. We all want an audience. I know I'm not going to go down a tangent because that's like it's one of my speaker pet peeves, one of them. But yeah, if you're going to go and you're going to speak and you want people to show up and clap for you and root for you and engage with you, you had better fucking do that for other people. Right? I think it is so incredibly rude when speakers literally come in, they do their keynote, and then they bounce out. I'm like, what are you here for? What are you doing? Because those actions actually speak louder than your story on stage. Okay, so I'm not going to go down that. I'm going to get off my soap opera now. Okay, so I want to be very crystal clear, right? I'm going to be very clear because I was frustrated. I was upset, but it really hit me that these hosts had massive audiences, millions of viewers, thousands of followers, and still could not fill a room. A room that only had about 75 to 100 chairs. And when there was only about 25 to 30 of us in the room and they were all spread out, it felt like nobody was in the room. And let me be very clear. Followers do not equal execution. I want you to write that down, or at least remember it. Followers do not equal execution. I am a business strategist that does not believe you need a huge following in order to make a massive amount of money and impact. Because here's the truth, right? These women had millions of followers and they couldn't get fucking 35 women in a room, and we were all the speakers. So that showed me very quickly that it doesn't matter if you have millions of followers. If you cannot execute and bring what you've promised to the room, your word means nothing. And then get this, guys. They had the balls. Like, I'm like, wow, that's ballsy, but like, I kind of appreciate it, but like, not the right time, right? There's a right time and a right place for these things. But at the end of the 2-day experience, they come up and pitch another high ticket stage. I think it was like $20,000 to be on their stage. And I'm like, girl, you couldn't even fill this room. Why the hell would I come and pay to be on your yacht with 10 people, you know? Like, I was just like, oh my God, super ballsy. I can respect like a woman who's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. But like, if you're going to offer up something, you had better make sure that the first go around was fucking bomb. Otherwise, your word means nothing. Jack crap. I don't think anyone even signed up for that. And I want to be very clear. Right? If you did not hear it the first time, the second time, I want you to hear it now. Followers do not equal execution. Attention does not get you results, and leadership does. And this is where I need to say something that might not be so popular. You might actually not like me after this. Just kidding. Pay to play is not the problem, ladies. Bad leadership is. Okay. So you can pay to be on other people's stages, but at the end of the day, a good speaker can still turn a room, right? Doesn't matter if it's other speakers or other authors or whatever, right? That was bad leadership, because a lot of people, a lot of speakers don't want to pay to play to be on other people's stages. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like these people, those women probably spent $50,000 to put that room together in LA. I mean, it was at the W Hotel. It was incredible. Like the experience had so much potential. And yet so many women paid to be on that stage. And because they didn't deliver, those speakers are like, yeah, screw pay to play. Those don't ever add up to anything. And I'm telling you, it's not necessarily the fact that, it was a dead room. I mean, it could have literally been how you delivered your keynote, how you worked the room, how you built relationships, and how you kept composure and leadership in who you be. Because if I tell people you're going to get into a full room, you're going to get the exposure, you're going to get an opportunity, and then if I don't deliver, that's not a strategy issue. That is a leadership issue. That is a character issue, an integrity issue. Because those women, on top of them maybe paying $50,000 for the room, like the experience, they probably made $200,000. So for them, it looked like, hey, as long as they got their money, it didn't matter. But some of these speakers, that was the last dollar that they had. They were banking on that room being full. And I know it's frustrating, but I've been on both sides. I've been on the event coordinating space, hosting events, and I've also been that speaker who's been felt so left down. But if you're the event host, your reputation is not built on your branding. It's built on how you execute. Because these two women have a killer brand. I mean, it was like a slap in the face when I was like, "What? This is it?" And I want you to remember, ladies, like how you make them feel, what you promise, and what you actually deliver. If those things don't match up, if you're going to host an event, right? If those things don't add up, you're not going to get a second chance. So if you want to host an event, you better make sure that you fulfill your promises. You better make sure that you actually deliver on what you say, and you actually better make them feel important. You're not going to get another chance. And you know what? Forget even hosting an event. Like this is just straight up like being an amazing leader, right? Being a leader who says, if I'm going to do something, I promise I'm going to do it. So maybe you're a coach who says, I'm going to do A, B, and C for their clients, and then you don't deliver. Your reputation is shot. It doesn't matter if you're hosting an event or running a company, guys. Your word is your word. Now, I want to shift this conversation because this isn't just about calling out what's broken with event coordinators or women who want to host events. This is about raising the standard because I've also seen what happens when it's done right. I've created it myself. Recently, I just hosted my own in-person experience in Nebraska. We had 150 women in the room, all at the Beardmore Event Center in Bellevue. The event was called Rise Up, where purpose meets power and women step into their Alpha Queen era. And let me tell you, that room was not built on hope. It was built on intention, on strategy, on execution. Because hosting is an event is not just about putting people in the room or getting speakers on the stage or hoping to God that it all works out. It's about designing an experience, leading the emotional journey, creation and connection. It's about moving people into transformation and most importantly, also into action. And this is where most people get it wrong. They miss this part because you can't just fill a room. You have to know how to lead it. Okay. Because Lord knows I've been to plenty of events where the rooms have been full, but they're full of like all the wrong people. And I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Like, how did you get these people here? These are not even entrepreneurs. And you promised me 200 entrepreneurs. Like, we have 200 people in the room, but like, none of these people are my people. I paid to be here because you said 200 entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? So, like, I made a decision based on what you promised me and you did not deliver. Okay, so just because you have a room full of people does also not mean jack shit if they're not what you promised your people. Do you know what I mean? So I have been in those rooms where there'd be 100 plus people that felt completely disconnected, that, just looked at me like it was like, what is she even talking about? And it was a flat room, like people who really couldn't even care less to be there. And yet I've also been in really amazing, smaller rooms that were just electric, super transformational and transformational and so powerful. The difference really does come down to leadership. A real event leader understands how to guide a room, how to manage the energy, how to position their offers, how to create moments that actually matter. Because this isn't just about impact, it's also about responsibility. If people are investing their time, their money, and their energy to be in your space, you owe them an experience that delivers. And if you're someone listening to this right now and you're thinking about hosting your own event, I want you to hear me very clearly. This is not a cute idea. This is not I just want to bring women together. This is not I just want to create something fun. This is leadership. This is execution. And this is business. And if you don't know how to structure the experience or fill the room or support your speakers or, convert the energy, you will waste a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of trust. Because if you don't lead the room, somebody else will. I've done it. I've walked into rooms as a speaker and I've converted opportunities that the host didn't even touch. Literally. One of my most profitable speaking days was I was at an event. There was probably about 75 women in the room. This host had been speaking all day long, didn't even offer up anything, right? No type of program after this. She just put people in a room. I came in on a free talk, 30 minutes of my time. I sold 20 books. I gave away 20. I had 15 sales calls on the books. 10 of those closed. That turned into a $100,000 payday for 30 minutes of my time. And then of course their friends, they loved it. So they referred their, friends and so on and so on. I probably made over $250,000 just by being in that room. That's the difference between hosting an event and owning the room. Like there's a big difference, y'all. So if you're going to do this, please do it right. Raise the standards, raise the bar, and understand that your event is not just a moment. It's a reflection of your leadership. And if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I've experienced this, Carissa, or I want to do this the right way, then this is where you go deeper. Because this is exactly what I help my clients do. Not just speak on stages, not just show up, but build rooms, lead rooms, convert rooms. So if you're ready to elevate your voice and your leadership in your business, I want to encourage you to book a 15-minute clarity call with me. Ladies, let's identify what's not working, what needs to shift, or how to position you as at the level that you're actually meant to be playing at. And if you're looking for a space for women who can grow alongside you, ambitious women, come join the Alpha Queens Rising community. It's completely free community. It's not a Facebook group, guys. This is off social media space. Yes, it's digital. Yes, it's free. Yes, you get an app that you can download, but it's our own space. That means it's not crowded. It's not bombarded with DMs. It's not sales pitches after another. It's not algorithm hacks. And of course, right, we want you to come and join us. Alpha Queens Rising. The link is below in the show notes. If you're looking for my clarity call link, go down to the show notes. You'll be able to find that link, or just go to, alphaqueencollective.com. Go check out more what we're about. Okay. And of course, you guys, if this episode hit for you, make sure you subscribe. Please leave us a beautiful 5-star review and drop your biggest takeaways over on our YouTube channel. I want to hear what landed for you. Okay. And next, we're shifting into a different type of conversation, because now that we've talked about speaking and hosting events, we're going to talk about what it actually takes to build powerful partnerships. All right. So I'm going to see you in the next episode. This one is really going to be a game changer for you all. And until next time, keep kicking ass and taking names, ladies. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Iconic Leadership. If today's conversation activated something within you, make sure you subscribe and share this podcast with women who are ready to rise up too. Leaving a review helps this movement reach more women stepping into their power. This is Iconic Leadership.